G'day guys, Dakaiju Down Under here. Now, if you saw my unboxing and review of the SH Monster Arts Scar King, you'll note that at one point in that video, I talk about this part here, the Beast Glove for the SH Monster Arts Kong figure. And I say that I've got some plans for it. Well, that's this video here. In today's video, I'll be discussing the Beast Glove itself, as well as a few other things that I've made for this Kong figure here. This is, in my opinion, the ultimate SH Monster Arts Kong from Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. Let's talk about it. Now, just a quick disclaimer. This isn't what Kong looks like when he comes out of the box, when you buy the SH Monster Arts Kong from Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. This figure here has some custom elements. Mainly the head, which was done by Zeto over on Instagram and painted up by me. We'll take a look at that in a second. And then the axe here, which I'm sure you've seen in a couple of my other videos. That one is also completely repainted. This actually comes from the bootleg Kong, which I got from AliExpress. Besides that, this figure here, as you can see, has the Beast Glove, and I've also custom painted that as well. So we'll take a look at all of them. We'll start with the axe, then we'll look at the heads, and then we'll finally take a look at that Beast Glove as well, and I'll show you the ultimate Kong. Now, starting off with the axe. As I said before, this axe was the bootleg from the bootleg SH Monster Arts Kong, and I've completely repainted it to look like the axe uncharged. As you know, every version of Kong that you get, the axe is somewhat blue in some areas, whether it's the Godzilla vs. Kong figure, the event exclusive Kong, or this Kong here. As you can see, this one I've completely repainted. So the hilt of the axe itself, the bone there, that's been repainted. I also repainted the tip of the bone there as well, so that way it's not as in your face as the original part. And then of course the actual blade itself and the Godzilla skin, that's been color matched to the SH Monster Arts Godzilla. And then I've done just a tiny bit of grey dry brushing over the top of that, just to help those details pop. Now, I actually did a second axe, which I'll bring in right here. If you've seen my Scar King unboxing video, you'll recognize this axe as the one that I used to open that box. This axe here was just a random, fun thought experiment, again done off of a bootleg. This axe is, I guess, what you would call the Godzilla Revolved Charged Axe. It was painted up the same way, the same hilt, the same Godzilla skin there. The only difference is I painted up the spine to glow and look like Godzilla Evolved spines. In fact, I have that figure just here. So as you can see, comparing the spine, it's not exactly one-to-one, but it gets the point across. When you see this part here, you know that it's supposed to represent Godzilla Evolved spine. Now that was done. I've got a short little time lapse for you there. I'm not sure if that's coming up now or if I edit that in later, but we'll see. That's nice. That's all done. That's painted up there. Couple of layers of pink, and then in the middle there, just a little bit of white and a little bit of silver to help replicate that glow. So between the two axes, you've got the uncharged axe, you've got the hypothetical colored axe that didn't happen in the movie, but it would have been cool if it did. And then last, but certainly not least, bringing in the supercharged axe here from the event exclusive Kong. So that way I've got Kong with all three colors of the axe. You've got uncharged, you've got this one here, the charged up version, which has that beautiful blue and that beautiful silverish sort of white in the middle there. And then you've got the pink there, the hypothetical color. So I've got three separate axes for Kong, and we'll take a look at all three of those on the figure as well. Now I've just quickly adjusted the lighting here so that way you guys can see these finer details a little better. This is the first head that I use for Kong, and this is his primary head. This one here, again, I've got four that I'm going to show you. All four of them were done up by Zeto and then painted by me. Now, as you can see, Kong has his silver tooth. That was done with just a grey Gundam marker. And then the paint on the head has been color matched pretty perfectly, I might add, to the SH Monster Arts Godzilla Kong: The New Empire Kong. That was done with just multiple layers there. Basically, mainly a bit of a grey and then a tiny bit of brown dry brushing over the top there. I see a lot of people paint this head completely black and then do grey dry brushing. You want to go grey with brown dry brushing. and then that makes it look pretty much one-to-one there. And then another detail that people seem to often overlook, Kong's face is actually slightly lighter than the rest of the head. And again, Kong actually has a lot of scars on his face. You see them present especially in a lot of close-ups of the movie. So as you can see on his cheek there, a little bit on his nose and a bit of his lip there, and even the top of his head there, I've painted up those scars there. So Kong does have his scars as well. I'll show you the other 3 heads, and you'll note that I've also made sure that all of those scars are pretty seamless compared with all 3 of them. So all 4 of the heads do have the scars in the same place. Here's Kong's second head. This is the more open, more expressive, more ferocious, roaring head. Again, it was painted up the exact same way as the first one there. The only difference on this one is that his mouth is a little more open, and unfortunately that silver tooth actually has a tiny little chip on it, but it's not super notable. And again, pointing out, you can see those scars there all on Kong's face. Those were, again, matched pretty perfectly to each of the other heads, and I just based that off of some HD photos and renders of Kong. Here's the third head. This one here is just more of a gritting teeth sort of head for Kong here. Again, much like the other 2 that we've seen, the skin color on Kong, the fur, it's all matched between all of the heads here and the base SH Monster Arts figure itself. He's got those scars on there. He does have his silver tooth. That one was actually really hard to paint on this head here because it is just so sunken into the mouth. Really had to use a super fine tip brush to get that effect done. And again, he's got those scars, and his eyes there as well, they're brown with the gold sort of iris and then his black pupil. I'm not sure how well it shows up on camera, but on all 3 of these heads here, sorry, all 4 of the heads, Kong does have a glint in his eyes, and he does have some glint sort of gloss in his mouth there as well. That was just done with some semi-gloss just to give those just a little bit of life. Then Kong's final head here, this neutral expression head here. This one's probably the best one that can showcase off those scars, so I'm not too sure how well, again, those come up on the camera. I did have to adjust the light just to really sort of show them off. They're a lot more notable in person, but Kong does have his scars on his face. The face color is slightly different, slightly lighter from the color of his fur. He's got his eyes there as well. Thankfully, I didn't have to paint any teeth on this one, but as you can see, pretty close compared to all of the other heads there. Alright, here you are, guys. So here's just a shot with all 4 of the custom heads just in a line there. And as you can see, the paint is consistent on all of them. They've all got the scars in roughly the right spots. All got the same colored mouth, same colored teeth. And the trick with that was just to paint them all up at the exact same time. Now the final custom accessory I've got for Kong is the Beast Glove. Out of the box of the Scar King figure, this part looks really nice actually. In fact, throughout the entire movie, the Beast Glove doesn't really get much battle damage at all. However, near the end of the movie, when Kong and Godzilla and Shimo and Scar King are fighting, this Beast Glove is obviously going to get torn to shreds, right? Kong's punching buildings, he's holding off Shimo's frostbite blast, all that sort of stuff. And I wanted the paint job on this piece to reflect that. So I'm trying to show you guys from different angles and stuff what I've done here. In fact, we'll pull this part just a little closer and you can really see those scratches and whatnot. So that was just done with a little bit of dry brushing with just a tiny bit of light rust and then a tiny bit of dark rust over that, and then right in the center there just a little bit of silver, and that really just shows off the layers and paint and whatnot. So it makes the orangish yellow paint look like it's chipping off. That's actually a pretty easy effect to achieve, and I think it looks really nice. Now you got to remember, Kong's like what, 100 meters or something tall? So all of these little scratches and whatnot, despite being almost minuscule in hand, are actually meters long in comparison to Kong himself. So the trick is to just keep all of those details nice and constrained, don't go too overboard. You can see that sort of on the gauntlet there, right on his knuckles. And that's just not there. I've done it on the entire Beast Glove itself. So minimal paint, less is more. You can see it sort of up here, you can see it down there. and that just really helps elevate all of those already nice painted details. Again, out of box, it looks absolutely fantastic, but I just wanted to give it just a little bit more, and I think I've achieved that. On the Kong figure itself, the scratches and the battle damage aren't super distracting, but it does add just a little bit of detail. Is it accurate to the movie? Maybe not. I'm pretty sure in the movie, Kong's Beast Glove stays pretty pristine, but maybe he gets damaged as, the MonsterVerse continues. We don't know what's going to happen in the next movie. But for the figure itself, for the effect of adding to the Ultimate Kong figure, I think these look really, really nice. Now, I didn't just do the gauntlet itself and the punching fist. I've also done the other two hands for Kong here as well. So this hand here is that slightly open hand. That one's just got just a little bit of that sort of same detail on it. And then, of course, Kong's open grip hand here as well. So all three of them look really nice on the gauntlet. Now, I've spoken about it enough. I've spoken about the accessories enough. Let's just take a glamour shot of the figure.